Hello, my name is Sandy Grymes. I'm a communications student at Cape Fear Community College. I'm under the instruction of Mrs. April Kennedy in section I02. Many moons ago, way back in 1978, before I was born, Walter Fisher developed the narrative paradigm theory, which basically says that all meaningful communication is based on stories, recollections, past experiences, and things that we are trying to communicate with others. In an article presented by Wake Forest University entitled Communication Theories and Practice, they define narration as symbolic actions that's symbolic actions and a sequence of meaningful events to those who live, tell, or interpret the events that are placed in front of them. Um, it basically says, do you remember when you were a kid, long before you could read and write? How did you express yourself? Did you sit there and stare around the room and make no motions at all? Or did you cry when you needed something? Did you scream when you had a wet diaper? Um, that's basically the narrative paradigm. It's a way in which you can communicate, a way in which that you could tell a story. This has been going on for roughly 100,000 years. I mean, oral communication dates back as far as any living being. You've got written communication that, symbols. That's been around for about 30,000 years. And you have actual written languages that have been around for 5,000 years or more. Let's talk about some of those for a second. Let's talk about the Stephanie Daly's um, retelling stories of an organization. Isn't that what hieroglyphics are? Isn't that just an artistic form of telling a story so that generation after generation can listen to and possibly re-communicate the exact same events? That's communication. That's what we do. You come home to your wife and or your spouse, and the first thing you want to do is tell them about your day. You want to let them know what happened from the moment you walked out the door to the moment you came home, or at least I do. See, there's all sorts of things that talk about how we communicate. In the Journal of Organizational Transformation and Social Change, Jesus Barrero talks about the paradigm and narratives. Says this paradigm takes into account the narrative thought of human beings and defines a human as a subject equipped with double dimensions of thought. I interpret this to mean that we are capable of projecting our thoughts onto others, as well as having the openness to interpret the thoughts that are projected towards us. Now, this is kind of a hard thing to grasp in some ways. A lot of people want to take things in literal means, and you can't do that in life, at least not all the time. If you look back at literary terms, something as simple as a metaphor. If you were to say, that the sun was an eye to show you the fire that burns in your soul, if you were to take that literally, it would sound horrible, would it not? We know that the sun is not an eye. It cannot see anything. It's simply a ball of gas. But we can use that to project our feelings, to allow someone else to know what's inside. That's what words are. It makes a story is something that makes someone feel what you felt at that given moment. Take a simile, and this is yet another way to describe those feelings. Um, One right off the top of my head. My thoughts roll like rampant rapids moving down a hillside. And something as easy as that. You know that your thoughts are not water. They're not going rolling without you down a hillside. But It's a way to explain the passion, the things that go on. And that's exactly what the narrative paradigm theory says. Every person wants to project their thoughts. They want other people to know exactly how they feel, how they felt at that moment. And sometimes it's hard to do. I mean, the psychonarrative paradigm basically says it's just a thought process. It's a thought process that we need to project. Let's think. What's a good story we could discuss here today? One that's been passed down for many, many years. Let's say a fable. Uh, do you remember the fable about the boy that cries wolf? Because I do. I heard that many, many times, long before I could ever read, before I could speak, before I could point to letters or pictures. These were things that were passed down from generation to generation, things that people thought had ethical significance. I hope that I came across the way that you wanted me to. I hope that this presentation does exactly what you need. Once again, this is Sandy Grymes. I appreciate your time.